Hi, this is Mark Wiltshire. Thanks for choosing to listen to the Explore Finland radio show again. And this week we're in the run-up to elections here in Finland, as I know we are in many countries, certainly across Europe. And I was lucky enough to get to spend half an hour or so speaking to one of the candidates for the elections in the Ostrobotnia region. Henna Rantasaari from the Green Party here in Finland took some time to talk me through how the political system works over here, how the elections work, and all the way through to how the government is decided. So I thought this would be a good time. We only recorded it a few days ago. Thought it would be a good time to get it out as quick as possible before the elections, so that it's kind of timely. So I'll head over to my conversation with Henna now. I hope you enjoy it. Today I'm out on the election trail with Henna Rantasaari. She's a candidate for the Green Party here in Finland, and we've managed to take a few moments to talk through how the political elections work here in Finland. There's, similar to back home in the UK, there are elections coming up next month in April, and Henna's going to try and talk me through this complex system that's in place here in Finland. And there's a few things going on in the background, so you may hear a few background noises, but we're going to carry on through that and get on with it. Henna, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And this is not the first time we've spoken, so
yeah.
You're the first person to come back for a second time.
Oh,
so.
Thank you.
Last time we were talking about the Kirkkutori, and that was way back on episode number 5 or something like that. So today it's something different, but I know it's something that's really important to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So how long have you been involved with the Green Party here?
I've been a member of Green Party since 2008. That's when was the first elections I was involved.
And was that national elections or local?
It was local, yeah.
And you're a councillor now here in Seinäjoki?
Yeah, yes.
I've been here in Finland a few years now. I don't really understand all the different parties. Coming from the UK, where we've had kind of this 3-party system, and it's generally been swinging backwards and forwards between the Conservative Party and the Labour Party, and then 5 years ago was this most amazing event that we had a coalition party,
yeah.
And I think people in the UK just couldn't get their heads around it. They don't understand how government can work when there's more than one party there. And of course, in America, you have this 2-party state.
Yeah.
So, how many parties are there? The main parties here in Finland.
Well, in the Parliament there are at the moment 8 parties.
8.
8.
Okay, and
yes.
how many parties generally make up the government?
Now at this time it was first 6 parties.
6 parties,
6
all with some
parties,
kind of power in the government.
Yeah. But now during this 4-year period, 2 of those parties have left the government. My party was one of them. But so now there are 4.
Okay.
But as I think that these 2 parties have left the government has shown that this hasn't been a good thing, that there were so many parties involved.
Yeah, I guess that's the nature of coalition governments, isn't it? Especially you get 6 parties.
Yes.
They must have quite varied beliefs, and trying to get everyone to agree.
Yeah, and in this government there were the right-sized party and then the party from the most left, so it was really diverse.
That's always going to be a challenge. I genuinely don't understand what all the different parties are and kind of what they stand for, I suppose.
Yeah.
So maybe you could talk us through. Let's stick with the top 8, because I know that there are also lots of other smaller minority parties.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
We could probably be here for the rest of the day talking about that. But maybe if you could explain to me, and I don't mind if you want to go from right wing to left wing, or if you want to go from the biggest down to the smallest of those mainstream parties. Give me an idea of kind of how they were started, or what they stand for, or who they sort of represent.
Okay. Well, maybe I start from the biggest one.
Okay.
At the moment, the Prime Minister party is Kokoomus. It's a right-wing party, and they are, I don't know, I guess they are representing like yrittäjät.
Yeah, businesses and entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And that's the thing, always that's to those. And then second biggest party at the moment, but in the government is Social Democrats. And it's from the left side, but not the most left.
Okay.
Most left one. And they are like, I guess if you describe it shortly, you could say that the root for those Social Democrats are in the factories and those.
So for me, I can equate those two parties so far to the Conservative Party in the UK and also the Labour Party. And they're the two biggest kind of factions in the UK at the moment. Okay.
Yeah. And then the one big one is Keskusta, which is in the centre.
Okay. Well, the name, even I understand the name.
Yeah. And the roots for Keskusta are in the countryside.
Right, okay.
And it's the party, for example, in this area, in Vaasan vaalipiiri, where there are a lot of farmers, or used to be at least. It's a big party here.
Okay, so they're all quite diverse roots.
Yeah. And then I guess the new party in these bigger parties is Perussuomalaiset, which is it's an old party too, but it's grown in 4 years ago when there was an election. They really got a lot of places. I guess they now have, I don't even remember how many. Do they have 16 places in the parliament?
Yeah.
I don't really know one thing how to describe them.
No, I think that the phenomenon of Perussuomalaiset, the Finns party as they call themselves in English. This phenomenon is occurring in many countries.
Yes.
Certainly in Europe. In the UK, we have the UK Independence Party, and that's although the name has a slightly different meaning between the two parties, the aims are kind of similar. They're about defending what they believe are the rights of the everyday person in that country, and they believe in some kind of restrictions on immigration or controls of immigration. And there are also some slightly wilder members of both of those parties, and it tends to be those wilder members that get all the headlines, and normally the negative headlines.
Yeah, that's true.
But all of those are, I think in Finland, PS has certainly got more direct power, whereas in other countries in the UK, UKIP is having its influence by making the other parties react to the things they're saying and making them react to how people are responding to these parties. So that in different ways they have this similar effect.
Okay, yeah. All right, that was well described.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want today to be about us talking down any of the other parties, but that is a fairly straight. And I'm sure in other countries in Europe there are similar. I guess they're kind of protest parties.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing, and one reason they are so big at the moment. I think people somehow were unsatisfied for the system the way it was, and that was one of the reasons in Finland Perussuomalaiset got so many places in the parliament.
It also happens when there's financial, economic problems as well. So it's no real surprise that after what happened in 2008 with the world banking system, that there was then this rise of these protest parties.
Yes. All right, and then there's the Green Party, my party, and of course our roots are in protecting nature, and that's always been a big thing to our party and still is.
And is there a similar ethos between the Green Party and Keskusta? Because you said that's the kind of countryside party, I would imagine they have a similar ethos somewhere along the line.
There are some same things, but there are also quite few big differences.
Right, okay.
For example, Keskusta says that they are environmental party also, but we think that they are not in some issues. So
they also, I guess, have the commercial concerns of their members in their mind as well. Back to the Green Party, what are the issues that you're campaigning on? Let's look at your local party in this Pohjanmaa, Ostrobotnia region.
Yeah. All right. Our party has 4 main goals in these elections. One is, of course, nature. We want to keep it clean. And then one other big thing is education. We want to think that in this difficult time, economically difficult time, we have to put effort to training and to schools and make it that raise our maybe incomes and the
opportunities for people through education.
Yeah. And then there's we've been talking about this basic income for several years. It's called perustulo in Finnish, and it's that thing that would renew our social system and the social security thing.
Is this to reduce the cost of social security on the country?
Yeah, and to make it more supporting, I guess.
Okay.
Because at the moment, our system doesn't support people to do work.
Right. Okay.
And this basic income would help people to go to work, and it would always be useful for them to go to work.
Yes.
And they could get benefit from that.
Yeah, so it's encouraging people not to just...
that was the word
I was looking for. Encouraging people not to just sit at home taking benefits, but actually to be supported in order to get back out into the workplace. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. Yeah, and that's been our goal for many years. And now there are other parties like really, really wanting this too.
Okay.
So I guess this is now a big thing for us, and we're really proud that hopefully it will happen.
Yeah. Okay. Back to your list. I think you only got about halfway down your list of parties. So let's carry on through that and sort of some of what the other parties stand for.
Yeah. And then there's Vasemmistoliitto, which is the left-wing party. More to the left than the Social Democrats. It's I guess it's been for many years. It's been the same size than the Green Party in here. And then there's Kristillisdemokraatit, which is Christians' party.
Yeah, the Christian Democrats.
Christian Democrats, yeah. And that's small party too, but they have members also in the parliament.
I think in Finland there's still quite a connection between organised religion. People still pay taxes directly to the church, and having a party that represents people of that religion is, again, for me from the UK, it's unusual. Yeah, maybe we're just all heathens. I don't know, but in other parts of Europe, having a party to reflect a religious belief is normal. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it just adds to the mix that we've got here. Yeah, yes. So where do they sit on the? They are at the right. Yeah, and they do a lot of work together with Kokoomus, the right wing. Okay. Party. Yeah. And then there are also this Swedish People's Party in Finland. I guess that party is here because the other language of Finland is Swedish. And this party is representing those people. So how many... I think many people listening to this maybe don't realise that Finland is a bilingual country. Yes. So how many people speak Swedish? How many Swedish Finns are there? There are about 300,000 people who speak Swedish. Okay, so it's about 5%. 5%, yeah. Yes. Okay. And I know from being here in Etelä-Pohjanmaa that there is a real feeling of being different. Certainly to people living down the coast, there is this kind of Swedish, Finnish. People really perceive that there are these differences.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And so, I guess being the kind of minority language in the country, then the Swedish People's Party kind of gives voice to those. Okay.
Yeah. And they are also in the right wing, but quite liberal right wing party.
I think being Finland, the far right and the far left are still fairly easygoing, open-minded sort of
yes,
people.
they are, yeah.
Have we got to the bottom of your list?
Yes, we have. That was I think we've gone through all of them.
Okay.
Yes, we have, yeah.
And you were saying to me the other day that there are also several other sort of minority parties. What just give us a flavour of some of those other...
Yeah, well, there are English names for these parties. There are For the Poor.
Okay.
So, the name tells for the poor people. and then there's the Independency Party. They want Finland not to be part of EU.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a direct comparison with the UK Independence Party, UKIP.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then there are Workers' Party of Finland, which is, I guess, somewhere...
Is that even further left-wing than the Left Alliance?
So,
okay.
Yeah. And then, this one is a new one. This changed 2011.
Okay,
they were first part of... There are two members in the parliament of that party.
Okay.
They were first members of Vasemmistoliitto, of this left-wing party. And then they got somehow...
It went off on their own.
So that's... And then there's Freedom Party. Also wants Finland to be free of everything.
But they're not quite aligned to the Independence Party.
I think they have something differences. And then, of course, every country needs a communist party.
Well, you say every country. I'm not so sure that there's necessarily one of those in the USA, for example.
Yeah, might be. Yeah. And there's also an communist workers' party for peace and socialism. So.
I don't know.
Literally.
It's quite funny when you start getting down there because it reminds me. I don't know if you know the Monty Python film, The Life of Brian.
Yeah.
Where they're all sitting around and they're the Judean People's Front. No, they're the People's Front of Judea. It's kind of all fragmenting as you go further down. Okay.
Exactly.
So again, I relate this back to growing up in the UK and how it works over there. In the UK, it's very much been two parties fighting it out each election, and over the years it swings backwards and forwards, nowadays between the Conservatives and Labour. And the system there is first past the post. So whichever party actually wins the most seats, then can become the government. And with this many different parties, I guess that's not a system that really works. So how does it work over here?
Well, first, the elections are held. There are different areas, and every area has a certain amount of candidates and the representatives elected. Yeah,
there's seats in the government.
Yeah. And it's due to the amount of people in the area.
So let's make this as simple as possible. Let's focus on this area. What area are you fighting for a seat in the government for?
It's Vaasan vaalipiirin.
Okay. So is that Pohjanmaa and Etelä-Pohjanmaa?
Yeah. And the northern. There are these three regions in this area.
Okay.
And there are 16 seats from this area. Yeah.
Okay.
There were... This 4 years period now there was 17. Okay. So now in these elections we have one seat less.
Is that because there are less people in the government this year? Okay.
No. Now there are less people living in this area than there was 4 years ago.
Okay.
So they are counting them then again every 4 years. How does it go?
Okay.
every 4 years there are a few changes.
Okay, so this year you've got 16 seats up for grabs, and you're out there, and I've seen your name on lots of different events around the town, getting out there and getting people to recognise you and hopefully vote for you. How is the voting counted? What's the system that's used to decide who gets voted into?
Well, every party collects their votes, and the votes for the party are counted, and then, for example, if party gets like 20,000 votes, then the first one in the list, the one who's got the most votes of that party or list, is there on first.
Okay.
And his or hers number is the 20,000.
Okay.
And
so the Green. So let's use round numbers so that I understand.
Yeah.
Green Party has 10 candidates, for example, and you get 20,000 votes, and of that 20,000, you, Henna, get 8,000, and that's the biggest from any of those Green candidates. Then you become number one.
Yes.
I'm positively projecting forward for you. I'm wishing you good luck.
Yeah.
So you then become the top candidate for the Green Party, and you get all 20,000 of those votes applied to your name.
And that's my number, or how do you say?
That's your total or your score? Okay.
Yeah. And then the second from that list, our Green Party list, gets half of that whole amount. So he will get, his or she will get 10,000.
Okay.
And that's her number, and that's how the places are then put in order.
Okay, and so each candidate from all the different parties will get some kind of, let's say, score.
Yes.
Depending on these votes.
Yeah.
And the top 16 are the ones that will then be put forward to represent this region as members of Parliament.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And that's rather than first past the post, that's a proportional representation kind of system, which is fairer. And I know it's something that's been discussed a lot in the UK over recent years to give some of the smaller parties a chance.
Yeah.
I think the bigger parties quite like it the way it is. And I follow politics in America, and I think it's similar there as well, that the big parties like the two-party system because that's how it works for them.
Yeah. They got their power on that system.
Yeah. And I think that kind of reflects Finnish society as well. It's more even, it's fairer, and other people have a chance.
Yeah.
So the votes have been counted. We know who's going from each region to the government.
Yeah.
How many MPs are there in total for the country?
200.
200.
Yes.
And once all those positions are decided, all the MPs are decided, how is the government then formed? How is it decided which parties will form the government?
It due to the amount of votes the parties have got. So the party who has got the most votes in whole Finland, they call the other parties to negotiate.
So I'm guessing the party with the most votes is also the one with the most MPs. Does it normally work that way?
Yes,
okay.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
So of those 200, I guess if one party has 101 MPs, they can form the government on their own.
Yes, but that's not...
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen, Well, of course, there are so many parties that... I don't know if it ever happened.
No, sure. But in theory, to have a majority government, you would need 101 to be able to make things happen.
Yeah.
So the party with the most MPs then gets the opportunity to form a government. How long does it take for those negotiations to take place?
It depends. It can take long. Of course, they try to do it as fast as possible and try to find the way there. Last time it took quite a long time.
Did it?
Yeah. And then they did this 6-party
exactly.
government. It took time.
It was difficult times.
Yeah.
Lots of parties needed to form the government, and it's been a challenging period for the government.
It has really been, yeah.
Not just here.
Yeah,
I think it's been challenging everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's always tough. And also, it seems to me the last couple of times that within a year or so before the election is due, the Prime Minister changes. The party in power has changed Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Then the election comes up. And that Prime Minister is then no longer Prime Minister. It seems quite harsh on the last... we've got Alexander Stubb at the moment, and he's seen to the end of this Parliament before the election.
Yes.
And there's no guarantees he's going to get back in. He hasn't been there long.
No, he hasn't. No. Yeah. And it really looks like that he's not going to be there, at least not as a Prime Minister anymore. Yeah. But who knows?
No, this is true.
Yeah.
This is the fun of the elections, I guess. I think I've taken enough of your time. You're busy. How many more of these events are you attending between now and the election? The election's in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, in 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many more evenings are you going to be out and about meeting people and getting the message across?
Well, I think almost every evening I'm doing something.
Then I'm lucky to get half an hour with you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
I wish you good luck, and I don't get to vote here.
Yeah.
So I have to send my postal...
Yet.
Not yet. No, that's right. I have to send my postal vote back home, but I'll be keeping my fingers crossed from you. I know it's not quite the same as putting a cross on the page, but it will have to do. So good luck.
Thank you.
And this might be the last time I get to hold a microphone in front of you while you're just councillor. Yeah. Next time it might be minister, and then who knows? Who knows what we'll be able to talk about?
Yes.
But good luck with that, and thanks for speaking.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thanks very much to Henna for taking time out of a very busy schedule. I've seen her name listed in many different places, and I know that the Green Party has been announcing 100 visits to 80 different places in the last 50 days. So they've been really busy. If you enjoyed the show and you want to help support the show, then please take a minute to rate and review it on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Feedburner, whatever podcatcher it was that you used to find the show. Remember that you can subscribe to my mailing list, and every time I release a new show, I'll email you the show notes directly, and you'll find the link there on my website, the explorefinlandpodcast.com. I'm on all over various different social media, so Facebook, Instagram, Google Plus and Twitter. I just wanted to say thank you to a few people who have reached out to me on Google Plus recently. So if you're listening, then Ekaterina, Alexander, Hannu and Christian, I think actually you're possibly all based, or certainly all from, different countries outside of Finland, which is great. So thank you very much for finding me and for helping me to spread the word. And also let me know if there's a subject you want me to cover in a future episode, then contact me through the website or through social media, and it'll be great to hear from you. So until next time, thanks for listening, and see you again on the Explore Finland radio show. Bye.